Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we'll be talking about Rivals of Aether 2. The game has finally officially released and it is so good, absolutely worth the wait. And if you've been living under a rock for this past year and you don't know what I'm talking about, Rivals of Aether 2 is essentially the top 9 characters in Smash Ultimate plus Chrom, make them a bit furry, add the melee engine, bam, that's what you got, and it is just as fun as it sounds. And there's a lot of key differences between Rivals 2 and Smash Ultimate, so that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video, how some of those fundamental mechanics have changed, how it changes the gameplay, and how you can utilize them. Now, one of the most important techs in Rivals of Aether 2 that you really don't see a ton of value out of in Smash Ultimate is going to be wave landing. Now, wave landing is something that you can get value out of in this game, but in general, you're not going to be able to extend any of your combos out of wave land. I wouldn't be able to do down tilt wave land into like back air, for example. I would just be able to do down tilt back air, but you get the point that I'm trying to make here. It's not going to be extending your combos. It can be used in the disadvantage as like a quick escape tool, get really close to the ground, immediately shield, or get ready to like jab or something. You can use it off the ledge as well. That was a bad one, but you know what I'm trying to say. In general, yes, you can use wave landing in Smash Ultimate, but when you compare it to this, as you could probably tell right away, you're going to be able to get a lot more value out of wave dashing in Rivals 2 than you would in Smash Ultimate. And that's just simply because it's an actual movement tool in this game versus an Ultimate where it's really more so of just like a landing tool. You can use it for movement, I suppose, but again, it's going to be hard to get value out of it. Rivals, that's not the case. You are getting a ton of value out of wave dashing. It's going to give you a bunch of space. It can be used both aggressively and in the disadvantage to land on platforms to get off the ledge. This mechanic literally does it all. It is one of the core parts of Rivals of Aether 2, and it's also going to be one of the main learning barriers for people that are new to this game. If you're coming from Smash Ultimate and you're thinking about what you need to learn, this is what you need to learn. This is going to be something that is central to your game plan. Melee players, this is going to be second nature, but for all the Ultimate heads out there, you just got to get ready to, press right trigger and jump a bunch while you're holding down and left or down and right, and you should be fine. It's a pretty easy mechanic to do, but it is a very important one. So as you can probably tell, Rivals and Ultimate have an extremely different neutral because of that extra element that wave blending adds, and it's honestly a pretty similar situation when we talk about the offstage gameplay of Rivals of Aether. The big difference is going to be that Rivals of Aether is a game that has ledge hogging versus Smash Ultimate, which is a game with ledge trumping, and I'll show what ledge hogging means in the Rivals segment for anyone that doesn't know. And the reason I'm showing you the Smash Ultimate gameplay here is I just want to show you the visual difference between a Rivals air dodge and a Smash Ultimate air dodge. As you can see with Smash Ultimate, you don't really lose any of your momentum when you do the air dodge. Obviously, if I do like an upward air dodge or something, it's going to send me an upwards momentum, but immediately after that, I am falling to the ground as if nothing were to happen. But that's not really the case in Rivals. And that is going to be ledge hogging. And it works the exact same way that it does in Melee, where if I'm on the ledge, you're not allowed to be on the ledge. And it really is as simple as that. And it should be noted that if you get hit in this animation, as you can see, I'm no longer tangible. I can be hit by Rondo's up B here, and he would just immediately grab the ledge. So it's only when you're intangible you can just sit on the ledge here, and once you become unintangible, or I guess tangible would be the right word, if you just do a neutral getup, or what I like to do is a roll, the timing for it is just easier in my opinion, then they will also just miss the edge if you were going to time that right. So basically, just control this ledge, and you control the entire stage, and I'm not a fan of this mechanic. That is just full personal bias. I just enjoy more so encouraging people to actually go off stage and edge guard instead of just sitting on the ledge. But I will say that Rivals of 2 does complement this mechanic extremely well with the walls. Editing Fruit Block, I don't think I did a very good job explaining the wall, so I'm just going to re-explain it right here. It's fairly self-explanatory. Even if you use all of your resources, even if you get put in a special fall, the only thing that matters to the wall is if you've up-beat or if you've jumped before. If you fill either of those conditions, you aren't going to be able to wall jump, but anything else, you are going to be able to wall jump, even if you get put into special fall, like Loxodon does when he does his side B. I should say, actually, Crag is the exception to the rule. He can double jump after he does his up B on the wall, but that's just because, he's Crag, he's special. So, basically, unless you're up being into the wall, or you've already used your double jump on the wall, you are going to be able to double jump. And, as I said, I think this mechanic goes really well with ledge hogging, because without ledge hogging, recovering in this game would be, like, impossible. Or rather, without the wall and ledge hogging, recovering in this game would be impossible, because Loxodon side B, for example, puts me into special fall. If you're holding the ledge right there, I am literally just dead and I can never make it back. But with the addition of the wall being such a consistent way for me to actually get that extra resource, I am able to consistently make it back to the stage. Now, whether or not I get punished, that is a whole other story, but at least I am given a fighting chance. So basically, the wall just kind of gives everyone an extra jump off stage if they are able to make it to it, but you're almost always going to be able to make it to the wall without using your up B. The final thing that I should talk about when it comes to that offstage gameplay of Rivals is going to be the air dodge, like I mentioned. It is way different than it is in Ultimate, as you can evidently see. You are going to be pretty much frozen in time whenever you air dodge in this game, and that is for every single direction. It is a massive commitment to air dodge, but you're essentially working with like a pseudo-Ness air dodge here, where you are going to be able to get a lot of space as every character, and this is what allows you to actually do like good wavelands in this game. But that also means what you probably saw a couple times earlier: if you mess up a waveland, you get something like this where you are going to be able to take a massive punish. So you have to be smart about your air dodges in this game. They're going to be giving you more space. They're a better defensive option, but they're also something that is easier to punish. And if you mess up a waveland, you're going to be in a pretty bad spot. Another mechanic that is central to Rivals 2 that isn't super important in Ultimate is going to be crouch canceling. And I don't actually know if people know that crouch canceling exists in Smash Ultimate, but it does. I'm going to give you some proof right now. As you can see, I got sent to the 10 mark there. I'm going to crouch, no extra DI, and I get sent not nearly as far. So crouch canceling does exist in Smash Ultimate, but it is nowhere nearly as impactful. So crouch canceling is going to be a key mechanic of Rivals of Aether 2, as you are evidently going to be able to see. Hits that would send you into the disadvantage or start up a combo for your opponent may just not affect you at all. And while it's not as bad as some videos may have made it seem, I do think this mechanic is maybe a little bit overtuned, but I also think that this mechanic is a necessary evil for Rivals 2, because without it, I just think the aggression in this game would be way too strong. And the aggression in this game is already very strong. If I'm mashing on your shield, unless you have good parry timing, it is extremely difficult to get out just because of how smothering these characters are. But that extra aspect of crouch canceling gives you an aggressive defensive option. If I think you're going to swing at me from the air with like a forward air from Zetterburn, for example, here, or First Burn, I should say, perfect example, I could crouch cancel that forward air, tank that hit, and I am able to respawn rather aggressively. So it's essentially allowing you to take that 50-50 of, I think you're going to swing here, but I'm going to tank that hit in terms for a hit of my own. So I think this is a good defensive mechanic overall. Even if sometimes it does feel a little bit BS that I hit my opponent and then I got hit for it, you gotta remember that you can literally do the exact same thing back to them. A mechanic that's in this game that isn't in Smash Ultimate is going to be how the pummel and get-up mechanics works, because there's a special pummel and a normal pummel. Same thing with a special and a normal get-up. There's the normal pummel like you saw right there. It just does a bit more damage than you'd expect, and it actually does a pretty decent amount of damage if I'm being completely honest. And then you're going to have the special pummel, which is different for every single character. As you can see, Cragged right there is going to put you into a rock, and normally the special pummels are very strong, and there are certain characters that you always want to mash special pummel versus, like Claren, for example. You just got to tank that normal pummel because her special pummel is so incredibly strong. And there's also normal and special get-ups for every single character in the game. Same thing where when you just get hit on the ground here, I'll just wait to be knocked down. Hopefully it happens soon. But every character is going to have a normal get-up, and every character is going to have a special get-up. And frankly, I just think that's cool. There isn't really a difference between that and Ultimate. It's more so just Rivals has that and Ultimate doesn't. But I just wanted to point it out because it's a great mechanic. And the final big difference between Rivals and Ultimate is going to be how the parry works. So I'm just going to spam until the game gives me a parry. But basically, you get a parry in Rivals, your opponent is actually going to be freeze frame, and you're able to get a much bigger punish than you would in Ultimate. Literally any punish that you would want. In Ultimate, I can parry Rob Nair and still not get any punish at all. So when you parry something in this game, you are pretty much guaranteed a punish, unless they jab you, in which case they actually don't get sent into that special animation. You just get invincibility, or you hit them when they are off stage, or rather you parry them off stage. Then they're not going to be put into that special fall. You are again just going to get invincibility, and they are going to lose all of their ledge invincibility. So you're just like immediately going to be able to two-frame them. And also, I should add before I forget, if you parry your projectile, it just sends that projectile back at the opponent. So I would say parrying is definitely better in Rivals than it is in Ultimate, because you actually get a guaranteed punish when you hit a parry. And I should also mention how shield breaking works in this game just while we're talking about defensive options. So basically, if the shield breaks, it's that little animation there where you go flying into the air, and you have until I land on the ground to punish me. But it's not like this really long wobbly animation like there is in Smash, where you can charge up a Smash attack for 40 years. So you have less of a window to actually punish people when you get a shield break, but you have more of a window to punish people when you get a parry. So those are going to be all of the fundamental gameplay differences between Smash Ultimate and Rivals 2. At least I think those are all the big differences. Hopefully I didn't miss a super obvious one. If I did, I'm sure people will let me know down below. But I just want to scroll through all of the emotes and all the skins that are available just to show y'all how much content there is in this game. There's already a functioning rank system as well, which is better than what Smash Ultimate has to say in 6 years. So I highly recommend that you check Rivals of Aether 2 out. There is a couple things that you are going to need to learn when you get into this game, but it's nothing that is overly complicated, and it is all worth it at the end of the day. This game is incredible. I'm so excited what the future holds for it. And with that, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. The sport has been absolutely unreal as late. If there's anything I left out, got wrong, or if you just want to say hi, leave a comment down below. Be sure to sub while you're down there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.